All right. We are here. We are live. And today we are making a leaf blower. I've already grabbed some reference images. All right. We are live and we are making a leaf blower today. Thank you everybody who's joining in. Let's see if we can look at our viewers. I'm just going to get started and while people kind of join in here. Got a few reference images. I went ahead online and just kind of started to try and get some pictures of some leaf blowers, some stuff that might be good just to kind of get an idea of, what a leaf blower looks like. Kind of see, gonna get some ideas for architecture, things like that. Yeah, that one's pretty cool. Get this one maybe. I think we're going for a battery-powered leaf blower today, and I think we're going for a hand leaf blower, even though I've got this backpack one here. I think we're just going to have that as a reference. But we won't need all that. That's probably good enough. Maybe just some other reference here. All right, I think that's pretty good. So we got some reference here. Now, just a little tip for all of you watching. You may notice that as I move my scene, the reference images kind of stay over in my peripheral here. But if you actually want them to scale and move with the space, then you just press this anchor button here, and they will all move and scale with the space. So, and then you can unanchor them, and it'll be back to basically being unconnected to the space. So, I think personally, the first step to making a leaf blower is to bring in a mannequin. I think that's probably the best way to start because, after all, it is a product and it's used by humans. So, why don't we just start with that? So we're just going to position our human here. Maybe to make a little more sense, maybe put him in a leaf blowing mode. We'll just kind of if you want to get back into the more precise edit mode for the human, you just want to swipe right on your joystick and then you can move those individual joints. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. It's starting to look like someone that's going to use a leaf blower. It's probably good for now. We'll probably have to adjust it a little bit later, but that's okay. It's a good start. Let's see if we've got any other people joining in. Hi, welcome. Welcome, George Elliott, JKL. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining in. All right. Let's just keep going here. All right. So I think probably with the way to start this out is we're going to look at some of these. So we definitely want some sort of handle here, and we want all the weight to be below. And obviously we have the shaft that pushes all of the air outward. And so in general, the architecture of a leaf blower seems to be that we have the shaft that blows the air out, the air intake, which is towards the back somewhere, either on the sides of the back or directly in the back, and then a handle, which is above, and then all of the weight is underneath the handle for balance. And then we've got, obviously space for the motor and the impellers and all those components that are basically sucking in the air from the sides and the back and thrusting it forward. That's pretty simple. Pretty simple, right? It's basically like a vacuum cleaner, except it's just pushing the air the other way, and maybe doesn't have to have the HEPA filters and all of that. I'm not exactly sure. So I'm thinking, why don't we start this way? So this is kind of a fun way to begin doing some sketching in Gravity Sketch, where you put up a mirror plane and you can just basically start sketching on the mirror plane using the planer tool. And you can basically do like 2D sketching. And if I just kind of squeeze my trigger, I can place this plane wherever I want it to. So you can notice whenever I draw, it just basically magnetizes to that plane. But if I just squeeze my trigger and I put it towards the center, it will lock to the center of the scene here, as you can see. So we're going to draw some profiles here. Just see what we can get. So we got some kind of long shaft, right? And this is going to be battery powered. So we're going to have a battery on it somewhere. That's the power source. And, so we've got a couple of shapes here. So we're going to keep going. All right. There's something about the handle when you hold a leaf blower and it needs to, your resting hand is at an angle here when you're holding the leaf blower, but you want the leaf blower to be pointing straight. So I can maybe illustrate this in a better way. Turn off planer here. So if I were this person and I was holding the leaf blower like this, this is probably the most comfortable hand position, which means the handle is angled this way. But we don't want the shaft to be also pointed the same direction as the leaves, or as the handle, because the air that you're pointing it towards, you want it to actually be slightly angled more outwards, blowing the leaves away. And so that means the leaf blower needs to be angled slightly, or the handle needs to be angled slightly, like this. And so that's actually why you can see these designs they give you multiple angles of holding the device. You can see here, this looks like it has even like an adjustment. So maybe what's an interesting way that we can solve this in our design? I think some sort of like circular design is pretty interesting. Could be pretty cool. Have a nice sculpted handle there. Could be interesting. Okay. Let's look and see if we've got any comments here. Let's see. Yep, you're totally right, George Elliott. Yep. See this one here? Perfect example. Showing the angle, difference in angles, and how that angle is needed for, basically the most comfortable position. And then this is obviously where the battery goes and everything. But yeah, so why don't we sort of explore this circular design here. I'm just going to go ahead and delete these, and we're just going to move forward with that. Basically, what we want to do is we want to get some sketches in, then we want to go right to some surfacing. So we can just jump right in and then into maybe some details, and then that'll be it. So why don't we just take this as reference? First, we're going to group this. If you want to know how to group something, you just grab all the things you want to group and then press the purple group button on your controller, and that will make everything group together. So we're just going to shrink this down to a size that kind of makes sense, and just sort of use this as a reference. And actually, while I'm at it, we're going to call this reference. And I'm just going to place all of these in there. We can turn off and on the references. And then this is going to go into rough sketch. And then this is going to be human. All right, now we've got everything. There's just one more for actual sketch that we'll be building for this. Then another one for surfaces. Beautiful thing with our new update, you can have infinite layers. So have as many layers as you want. All right. Gonna go back to sketch. I'm gonna turn down the rough sketch just a little bit so it's kind of ghosted. And what I'm thinking is we're going to lock that. Just start making this circular bit. Very nice. I think I'm going to hide the human just a little bit as well. I'm just going to focus on, because I think we've got a good idea for the size of the object, and then we'll reference the person again later. Let's check some comments. Someone says they like the circular handle idea. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. We'll see how it goes. Thanks everybody who's joining. Feel free to ask questions and feel free to make comments on the design, the direction. We'll just see how this goes. So I want to duplicate this. This is actually a pretty symmetrical object, so it's probably smart to just start building this on the plane. I think that's what we're going to do, just so we can not work so hard. We want to work with the mirror plane as much as possible. So let's turn this off. See if we can get everything moved to the center. That's good. See if we can. Looks good. Move it just over there. Sorry for the slowness, everybody. This is the design process. Yeah, this is just how things go, All right. Very nice. I think we're going to try and maybe have like a little bit of an organic look to this as well. I think that would be really cool. Gravity Sketch is really good for making organic things. Let's see. We want to turn on the mirror plane, and then we want to make sure this is mirrored. And then what we can do is we can start giving some dimension to this handle. You can move this one, and then this profile will be slightly modified. Very nice. And let's just kind of complete sort of the top bit of this handle here. There we go. It's got some cool shape to it. It's looking pretty nice. Just want to move these out here. And then I'm thinking we'll probably need this circle again, so we will enlarge it. Let's look at the comments. Just checking up on you guys. Let's see here. All right. Let's create some of these other character lines here. Just use this side, actually. There we go. And then I'm really kind of liking the design of one of these. I think maybe it's another image that I had I liked. I thought this one was pretty cool. Kind of tapers. And we'll see. We'll see if it works. But we're just going to draw the line. Might change this, but we'll run with it for now. Another one on the bottom. Make those lines just a little thicker. The bottom line to be a little bit stronger. You want them to be straight. All right. I'm thinking the battery pack would be good to go there. And it could also double as like a sort of a foot for the device, something along those lines when you set it down. We'll see. We'll keep the sketch there as it goes for now. Next, what we'll do is we'll create, because I think we want the end piece to be circular, or maybe like a soft square. There we go. These are going to terminate probably somewhere around back here. And I'm thinking we'll have probably another one of these circles. I don't think we need another point. I think we just need to work with the one we've got here. The line here. All right. Let's just take a pause for some comments. And let me turn off this other sketch so we can kind of see what we're doing here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, guys, feel free to ask any questions or thoughts. Let's see here. All right. I think we're going to complete the rear end here. Okay, I think there's something interesting going on here. Keep it moving. Why don't we try a revolve here and see what we can do here. There's something interesting with this triangle shape. All right. We'll sort of leave it at that for now. Let's take a look. George Elliott, I like your idea there. You're talking about using the intake to cool off the battery pack. I think that's a great idea. So I'm thinking this. The motor is going to have to be in here because the handle and everything is back here. Unless we channeled the intake somehow on the sides and fed it in that way. You know what? Let's just make this super crazy and just do that. Let's go that route. We're gonna make some crazy intakes, and that'll be a really cool way to sort of act as like little feet for the object when you sit it down. So thank you for that, George Elliott. That's a cool idea. We're gonna we'll just have it like that, and then we'll probably tweak it. But I'm thinking be some kind of intake. That feeds into it. Just like that. And then we have this other piece here. Kind of widens up. Connects down below. I'm telling you, it would be very hard to work out all of these little tiny changes in surfaces and profiles just in 2D. You'd have to do many different sketches in order to define this type of geometry. But here it's all being worked out in real time in Gravity Sketch. It's just amazing. So let's maybe give a little bit of angle to these. And then finally we want the actual intake bit. I'm probably going to cut those off. And we're going to loop it. So it's just one continuous piece. Beautiful. That's good. And then I think if we can incorporate the battery into this area somehow, I think that would be really cool. Let's finish up this part here. Give some thickness to that. And if you feel like this is just a little bit of design tip here for those of you watching. If you feel like there's an area of your design or your concept, and this just goes for all design, and you feel like you're getting stuck, you feel like you're maybe don't know the answer, then move on to another part, move on to another area, or go for a walk. If you need to walk away from it, that's good too. Just don't make yourself sit and force yourself through it, because you're gonna miss opportunities. You're gonna miss design opportunities, and you don't want that. So I think I want to have some sort of armrest here. So we're going to duplicate this sketch. And we're going to start using that as the base. And then we're going to just define the profile of this armrest here. This will be the center profile. Bump it up just a little bit. And then we'll figure out what sort of shape it's going to take. Give that some more thickness. Maybe something like that. I kind of like that. Let's see if I can pretend like I'm holding it. I think this needs to be a little bit larger, actually. Let's turn on our human being, this perfect time. We're going to take our human. Let's see if they've got. Yeah, I think we should make it just a little longer. Why don't we just extend that out just a little bit? Here we go. I think that's better. Now if you can just kind of solve and make this general area look a little nicer. Cool. And we probably want, just thinking, probably want this to be a little bit shallower of an arc here, because this is your forearm, and so you want it to be comfortable. I'm thinking that's probably how we want it to be, maybe. Yeah. So in the profile, it's still wider. And then down below is where we're getting sort of that thicker profile thickness. Okay. Let's check down here. All right. Let's keep moving along. Just going to tailor this a little more to the circular profile here we've got going on. I suspect that this transition is going to be a little bit strange, but we'll see how it goes. So we've got our sketch. I think this is a good time to start building some surfaces. Maybe we want to define this battery pack here. So I think instead of this change, it's probably going to go here like this. So I'm going to go here, and then I imagine this is going to follow the rest of the profile. And let's see if we can get a look at some of these battery packs. So let's maybe look at see how they did it here. Yeah, okay. Maybe like a real custom looking battery pack here. Let's draw it that way. Thinking something like that. It's probably going to have some sort of plug that goes right into it. I think the guide and the plug should probably be the same thing for this design. I think that would make sense. So that way, I'm just going to make it blue. You've got air coming in this way, being thrusted out. Make this smaller and there you go. So that's going to be the airflow. coming through the sides, being brought alongside the battery. I don't know if that's direct enough. George Eliot, I don't know if that's direct enough around the battery, but I think that's good. It's at least it's bringing the air along the sides and probably cooling it off around the general area. So I think this is probably a good way to go. So let's keep moving forward. I'm going to put that on another layer too and just call it air. We'll just put the air on that layer. I might want to bring that up later. Get back to our sketch. Now let's get to surfaces. So I'm just going to start building some surfaces, and I'm going to start building with a more neutral color. And we're going to start making, we're just going to go right into sub D surfacing. I think actually also we're just going to do the bridge curves here, see if we can get a little head start. Okay, just a little head start on building these surfaces. May not need all of these. Looks like kind of a lot. Here we go. And we're just going to try and follow our sketch here. Bring it all the way forward. Add another row. Turn that off. I just want to continue that with the trajectory of that line. All right. I think for now we're just going to build separate surfaces. I think that'll be quicker. There we go. Another tip with sub D is you want to have quads as much as possible. You want to have quad surfacing as much as possible, because if you have triangles, then it will create weird stuff in your surface. Triangles are not totally bad. I mean, sometimes you can't really avoid them, but usually when you have a triangle, you want to try and hide it as best you can, because you will encounter having to make a triangle with sub D modeling. The idea is to hide it as best you can. Yeah, so now that we've got that, let's just continue going here. So I think I'm probably going to turn off bridge curves. Let's go with freeform. Actually, I'm going to do controlled. That way we can, control it. There you go. One of the tricky things with this design here is these are kind of triangles that I've created in the design. So the geometry will kind of translate to sort of a triangular geometry, but that's okay. How are we doing on time here? Let's see here. All right. Cool. All right. We're encroaching on 1 hour, but I think that's okay. We can just kind of get the rest of the surfaces built on this. At least. See if we can sort of define the rest of this design. Define the design. Very cool. Moving right along. So we probably won't have enough time today to actually connect this and make this one sub-D surface, because that would require just a little bit more time in connecting all the geometry up, but this is certainly the building blocks to building your surfaces, and then connecting them later. And I'll show you all in a minute of how you can use your sub-D tool set to combine sub-D surfaces together and start connecting them. So you can build them in a sort of a disjointed way, as like I'm doing here, and then connect them later. Make sure we like this curvature. Add a little bit more geometry on the ends here. Here we go. Making sure we're keeping that perfect circle. Right. Next, we're going to complete this triangle. That's going to happen sometimes. All right. You can go ahead and connect these together. Very nice. And then sort of finish it off. And we're just going to go ahead and connect those together. That's good. And then we'll turn on bridge curves for this part. There we go. And then a cool thing you can do is you can turn on loop select and extrude this entire loop all the way back. Why don't we actually connect them first? Here we are. We'll just correct this a little bit. There we go. Then we're going to finish up. So here's a cool trick. So we already have this lined up, the axis for this revolve here. But say we messed it up. Say we made it out here, and we want to realign it back to the revolve of this ring here. There's a simple way to do that. If you lightly squeeze your trigger where you're able to snap to axes in your scene with the revolve tool, if you are also touching your revolve, it will snap it back to its original axes. I think I actually kind of messed it up, but that is that's a quick trick for you guys. If you're trying to snap back to something, you just hover it and it will snap to the original axis as before. Great. Now, I'm just going to finish building these surfaces. Turn off bridge curves. I don't know, let's try it and see. You can extrude edges using sub D and sub D. It's almost like puzzle making, where you got to figure out how things best fit together. can actually just delete this surface here, make that transition a little smoother. I'm going to turn off bridge curves for this one. All right, it's starting to really come together here. I'm going to finish this up. So someone asked, can you weld these surfaces together? The answer is yes. You can weld them together. Let me look at the question again. Yes, so you can weld these surfaces together by combining them, but you'll need to combine them with your subdue tool menu. So let me just do like a little example here. If I draw one surface and I draw another here, and I want to combine these together, right now they're separate. And so if I try and edit this one, there's no way to connect it to this one. But if I open up the subdue tool menu here by pressing this little tool icon, and I grab the merge tool, and I hover over it, it'll highlight this surface, and then now they're both combined. And so what I can do now is snap these together. And now it is one surface. So that's how you would combine them together. All right. Why don't we make this a more fun color? So let's do some kind of gardening tool color. I'll probably make this like a dark color here. Leave that gray for now. And then we want to start making the handle. So I'm going to use bridge curves for this because that's going to be really just the best way to go. I'm going to use like an orange color, I think. Okay, next. I think it's better if we don't use bridge curves in this next bit. Yeah. Right. So I think it's a pretty cool looking handle there. So we want to go back to the dark material. And I'd probably say bridge curves again. Let's see. All right. That's a little wild. Here we go. That's kind of wild. We don't want it to look like that. Here we go. And like I said before, it would take a while to connect these surfaces together and get it looking really clean. Just more time than I have here for the live today, but just want to show you guys how you could approach making a model in Gravity Sketch, starting with a sketch, some references, and then going right into making surfaces. We could probably make this battery pack with the volume tool. This tool is really cool, really great for making just general volumes. And then you can go back and edit it. You can really start to define the shape. Just turn this back, make this green. We'll make this slightly blue color. And then why don't we turn on, let me make this like a different color. I feel like it needs to be something else. And then we can actually put the shaft in another layer. Call it shaft. And then turn it off so we know which pieces we put in there. We're going to make this part like a really dark color. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just turn on the transparency. Take the transparency down just a little bit. And now I've got our leaf blower. Let's see if we can turn on our air. Here we go. So we've got our air coming through the sides, coming out the front. We can grab our handle here and group all this together. This is all one piece. We can actually take our, let's see, we'll probably have to guess. If we just go to our sketch layer, we can draw. This is sort of a little bit of a hack that was discovered by Charlie Hotchkins. Shout out to Charlie Hotchkins, where you draw a little point, say like that, and you can then take your tool belt, grab this tool, the rotate tool. Actually, you want to combine those first before we do this. Combine. And then we want to take the tool, and then we can rotate our object around this point here. And so to get a really extreme angle. You can get it perfectly horizontal, or you can get a more extreme angle like this, where you're more holding it down, it's pointing to the ground. Really useful tool. So let's just turn our mannequin back on again. We can see him holding the leaf blower. Nice. Now, obviously, we could add more detail to this and go a lot further and really start to define the details here. But this is a really good start. So just as a recap, we've got a battery pack down here in the bottom. We've got a rotational handle here that allows for multiple angles of adjustment, multiple angles for the device, for the leaf blower. Then we have our shaft here that allows us to push the air out the end. And then we've got the smaller opening at the end to use a little bit of Bernoulli's principle there. Air force through a smaller point will move faster. We got an armrest, forearm rest, and there you go. Thank you everybody for watching. Let's check some comments real quick before we hop out here. George Elliott, you asked if you can add thickness to surfaces, or does it need to be imported into something like Blender? So yeah, that's a great question. That's something that a lot of people have asked. At the moment, there's not really a way to add thickness across an entire surface in one go. You can sort of mimic thickness along edges if you do something like this. Like if I draw this surface here and I want to add some thickness to the side, I can select this entire loop, duplicate again, and then move this over. And now I have sort of a thickness, or like a thickness to the surface, if you will. And then you can connect all the other sides. But it takes time to do it that way. Whereas it would be nice to have a tool where when you draw a surface, you can just sort of select all these faces and then it just thickens it, or you give a thickness to the surface. So at the moment, there is no way to do that, but that is something that we know about and people have asked for, and we've had discussions about. So yeah, looking forward to maybe that happening in the future. Let's see, any other questions? Let's see here. Oh, okay, looks like Blargin1234. You've been asking about the Rhino plugin. Yes, so I responded to your comment. If you want to go back, you made a comment about asking where the Rhino plugin is. Please refer to that. And contact our support, because at the moment, somebody made a comment in that thread saying that the studio version is no longer available, which is true. So the original way of getting the Rhino plugin, where you get the studio version on Steam, that's no longer an avenue to take. We're actually currently working on a solution for getting the Rhino plugin available to people that want to use it. Right now, the way we're doing it at this moment is if you could just reach out to support@gravitysketch.com. They will help you in getting set up with Studio, and then subsequently getting use of the Rhino plugin. There's a video that we have on our channel on using the Rhino plugin and accessing the file structure and everything to getting it. I would look at that video and watch that video. But please reach out to support@gravitysketch.com, and they will help you get set up. But we are working on a better solution for people that want to use the plugin, because Studio version is currently does not exist anymore. But thank you for your question, Blargan1234. Let's see. Let's see if we got any other questions here. Yeah, thank you everybody that joined and all your questions, conversation. I hope it was educational. I hope it was interesting. Yeah, thank you very much. And we're just going to get a final turntable view here of the design. Leafblower gravity sketch. All right, everybody. I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much. We're going to try and do these lives every Wednesday around 3 o'clock Central Time. Or may not be Central Time. I think Eastern. We'll let you know. We'll put it out there. We'll advertise what time we're doing it. But every Wednesday we want to do these lives and just start making stuff and answer your questions. So tune in and we'll have a discussion, have a dialogue going, and yeah, thank you very much.